review the freeandclear.com Mortgage Comparison Wizard, which is a mortgage calculator that enables you to compare up to 3 mortgage proposals to determine the mortgage that is right for you. The Mortgage Comparison Wizard allows you to evaluate mortgage proposals with different terms, interest rates, and closing costs, and compare monthly mortgage payments and total interest expense over the life of the mortgage to select the mortgage that best meets your financial goals. To find the Mortgage Comparison Wizard, simply click on the Mortgage Calculator tab on the top left of any page on freeandclear.com, and that will take you to a page that lists all the calculators available on Free and Clear. The Mortgage Comparison Wizard is located in the middle of the page, and if you click on the icon to the right of the calculator title, it reveals a brief description of the calculator. I'm going to go ahead and click on the title, which will take us to the calculator page. Before I walk through the calculator step by step, I'm going to review the benefits of mortgage comparison. One of the best ways to make sure you're getting a mortgage with the lowest interest rate and closing costs is to compare mortgage proposals from multiple lenders. When you request a mortgage proposal from different lenders, they may provide you with a good faith estimate document, also known as a GFE, that outlines the key terms of a mortgage, including interest rate and closing costs. Other lenders may provide you with a verbal or written summary of the estimated mortgage terms. You can use either as the source of inputs for the mortgage proposals you evaluate using the Free and Clear Mortgage Comparison Wizard. In addition to comparing mortgage proposals from multiple lenders, it is also informative to compare mortgages with different terms and interest rates. For example, you may want to compare a mortgage with a 30-year term to a mortgage with a 15-year term and review the difference in mortgage payments and total interest expense over the life of the mortgage. The more proposals you compare, the more informed decision you will make when you select your lender and mortgage. I'm going to walk through the calculator step by step. As you can see from the way the page is laid out, the inputs to the calculator are on the top of the page and the outputs to the calculator are on the bottom of the page. The inputs are the information that you provide or select, and the outputs are provided by the calculator after you click the calculate button. It's important to highlight that if you ever have a question about an input, simply hover your cursor over the icon to the left of any input rectangle and it reveals a brief description of the input and the information required. First, we have mortgage amount. This mortgage amount will apply to the 3 mortgage proposals we are comparing. I'm going to use $300,000 in this example. Next, we need to select our mortgage term, or the length of the mortgage in years. If you click on the drop-down menu, it shows a range of options from 10 years to 50 years. One of the cool features of the Mortgage Comparison Wizard is that you can select different terms for each mortgage, so I'm going to select 30 years for mortgage number 1, 20 years for mortgage number 2, and 15 years for mortgage number 3. The next input is interest rate. If you hover your cursor over the icon to the left of the drop-down menu, it shows the current interest rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. In this case, the current interest rate is approximately 4.250%. If you click on the drop-down menu, it reveals a wide range of options, and I'm going to select 4.250 for our first mortgage. I'm going to use 3.750 for our second mortgage and 3.250 for our third mortgage. The next 2 inputs address mortgage closing costs. Adjusted origination charges is another term for the lender costs required to process and close your mortgage. Charges for all other settlement services are all of the non-lender costs and fees associated with processing your mortgage, including the escrow, appraisal, and title insurance fees. This is the terminology that is used on the good faith estimate document that a lender may provide to you when you request a mortgage proposal. And if you hover your cursor over the icon for each input, it explains where you can find this information on the good faith estimate. However, you do not need a good faith estimate document to use this calculator, and you can simply use a single estimate for total mortgage closing costs in either input. For mortgage number 1, I'm going to use $1,000 for adjusted origination charges and $2,000 for charges for all other settlement services. For mortgage number 2, I'm going to use one figure for estimated closing costs and input $2,500 for adjusted origination charges and 0 for charges for all other settlement services. For mortgage number 3, let's use $1,500, $1,500 for adjusted origination charges and $2,500 for all other settlement services. We have submitted all of our inputs, and I'm going to click on the calculate button, which will produce our outputs. The first output is total closing costs, which is simply adjusted origination charges plus charges for all other settlement services. And as you can see, mortgage number 2 has the lowest total closing costs. The second output is the estimated monthly mortgage payment, which is based on our mortgage amount and the interest rate and term that we have selected for each mortgage. As you can see, even though mortgage number 1 has the highest interest rate, it has the lowest monthly payment because it has the longest term. The longer the mortgage term, the lower the monthly payment, but the more you pay in interest over the life of the mortgage, which you can see from our next output, total interest expense over the life of the mortgage. In this case, you pay the most interest with mortgage number 1, which has a 30-year term, and the least interest with mortgage number 3, which has a 15-year term. In fact, you save over $150,000 in interest expense over the life of the loan with a 15-year term as compared to a 30-year term. Next, we have a set of bullets that summarize the key highlights from our mortgage comparison. The first bullet shows which mortgage offers the lowest combination of interest rate and closing costs, in this case mortgage number 3. The following bullet shows which mortgage offers the lowest monthly mortgage payment and the closing costs required for that mortgage. The final bullet shows which mortgage offers the lowest total interest expense over the life of the mortgage, which as we discussed is mortgage mortgage number 3. It's important to highlight that you can run different calculator scenarios without having to refresh the page. Let's say we only want to compare 2 mortgage proposals instead of 3. I'm going to change the inputs, click the calculate button, and our outputs update automatically without having to refresh the page. After you have reviewed the calculator scenarios that apply to you, you can click on the Compare Lenders button at the bottom of the outputs and review a table with interest rates and fees for lenders in your area. If you have any questions about the Mortgage Comparison Wizard or any other mortgage topic, you can always click on the Ask an Expert button at the top of any page, and it will take you to the free and clear Ask a Mortgage Expert feature where you can submit your question. The feature is free to use, and we never spam. We also encourage you to review related resources on freeandclear.com, including our detailed review of the Good Faith Estimate and our Mortgage Process Guide. Thank you for reviewing the freeandclear.com Mortgage Comparison Wizard.